What's up guys, Moniz here, and welcome to my review of the Lenovo X1 Carbon. This is the 2018 model. In terms of design, nothing has really changed from last year. But the internals have been updated and a few other things have been improved to make this business laptop even better. The best thing about Lenovo X1 ThinkPads is that they're made out of carbon magnesium, so making this product extremely light and also very great to touch. The material doesn't feel like metal, it actually feels more like rubber, but it is very comfortable to use, especially when you have your wrists on the deck. This also goes through a bunch of tests like the MIL STD 810G test. This is a military test that the US uses to test things like shock, absorption, drop tests, altitude, a bunch of stuff. So in terms of day-to-day use, this thing is going to take a lot more of a beating than a regular consumer business laptop like the Dell XPS 13. In fact, it's actually even lighter than the Dell XPS 13 at 2.5 pounds. It's a little bit thicker, but it's definitely lighter. When it comes to ports, Lenovo did a fantastic job of including all the ports you need in a business environment. You got two USB Type-C Thunderbolt 3 ports with 4 PCIe lanes, so you can hook up an external GPU, you can hook up a 4K monitor, and you can also power the laptop. You also have a proprietary port for an RJ45 cable, so if you want to wire it to the network, you have that option as well. There's a USB 3.0 port, a full-size HDMI port, and on the right side, you have another USB 3.0 port, a Kensington lock, and an audio jack. Plus, if you need extra storage, you have a micro SD card slot that also combos with a SIM slot. So you can pop in your SIM card in here and use data while you're on the go without having to connect to Wi-Fi. Getting inside is super easy. 5 screws and you're in. Everything inside of here is not upgradable or replaceable except for the NVMe SSD. The one in here is 256 gigabytes. It is super fast and does a good job with read and write speeds. There's a big battery, but I don't like the fact that there's only one fan. On the i7 model, I think you need 2 still, and especially if you have a Thunderbolt 3 port and you're gonna game on it, or let's say you're gonna run intensive applications for a very long time. I'll talk to you guys about heat management later on in the video. The display is one area that Lenovo has improved a lot. I didn't review the 2017 model, but I did review the 2016 version, and back then my biggest complaint was the screen didn't get bright enough. This year that's all been solved. It gets really bright, 302 nits of brightness, so it's good. Colors are very vibrant, they're punchy, and the screen is very color accurate, getting over 100% sRGB and 78% Adobe RGB. If you don't want a full HD model, the 1920 by 1080 version that I have here, they do have a QHD version and also a QHD version with HDR. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard it looks fantastic. Another cool thing is that this display rotates 180 degrees, which is a lot more than most traditional clamshell laptops. Lenovo has also included a thing called the Think Shutter, which is kind of clever. Instead of putting a piece of tape over your webcam to protect yourself from potential intrusions, this just has a little shutter that goes back and forth to keep the webcam closed so you don't have to worry about your privacy. Speaking of webcams, this one is HD like the majority of Ultrabooks on the market. It also looks pretty similar to the other webcams on most Ultrabooks. In fact, if you want the best webcam, you're gonna have to look at the Surface Book 2. That one does a really good job, but this is fine for streaming. The microphone sounds like this, and if you're a business person, you'll be more than happy for your conference calls. Sound is definitely one of the weaker points of this laptop. There's 2 speakers on the bottom. They get pretty loud, but they sound distorted at max volume, and they sound tinny overall. You're definitely gonna wanna carry a pair of headphones with you. But inside is a bunch of far-field microphones, so you can yell to it across the room, use Cortana, and the laptop's gonna answer you. Also, very, very soon, Lenovo's gonna push out an update enabling Alexa on this. So if you like Amazon, you like Alexa, this thing's gonna be able to do it. Now, when it comes to keyboards, the Lenovo ThinkPad X1 has one of my favorite keyboards on an Ultrabook. I'd take this keyboard over the majority of Ultrabook keyboards any day of the week. 1.8 millimeters of travel distance, over 2 millimeters of actuation force, hands down one of the best and most comfortable typing experience you can get on an Ultrabook. I also like the trackpad. It's very accurate this year. My only complaint about it is the size. Because there is a track point ball with buttons on top of the trackpad, some of that real estate is lost. Now, for those of you out there who use the track point, I know how important it is. I used to use the track point all the time. You can be so much more precise with it than you can with the actual trackpad. So I'm glad Lenovo is keeping those on their keyboard. There's also 3 levels of backlighting. The arrow keys are a good size, and overall the typing experience is amazing. The review note that I have here is using the i7-8550U processor. So that's the 8th gen Intel Kaby Lake R refresh. You get 2 more cores and a lower TDP compared to last year's model. So basically in day-to-day stuff like browsing the web, using productivity applications like Microsoft and Google Docs, you're not going to notice that much of a speed difference. It's not until you start doing more demanding things that can utilize those 4 cores, like edit in Photoshop, edit 4K video if you have an external GPU connected. That's when you'll see those 4 cores come into play and offer about 40 to 50% speed increase. You can also game on this thing at very, very low settings. So you can play Overwatch on it, Fortnite, CSGO. You just gotta drop the settings very low. In terms of heat, this laptop did not do well. I was getting surface temperatures of 50 degrees Celsius. Comparable Ultrabooks using the exact same CPU would only get up to about 40 to 43 degrees Celsius. Also, during my stress test, after about 20 to 25 minutes, the laptop would thermal throttle and completely shut down. CPU temps would hit about 80 degrees Celsius, which is also about 15 degrees more than other comparable Ultrabooks. Noise is really good. I'm getting about 33 decibels when it's idle and about 35 to 38 decibels when it's under full load. So here's my closing thoughts. The 2018 Lenovo X1 Carbon is still a great business Ultrabook. It has a beautiful screen, it has all the ports you need for a business environment, one of the best keyboards you can get on an Ultrabook, a good touchpad, it has great security features, and of course a micro SD and a SIM slot if you need to be on the road and have some extra storage space. The only thing I don't like about it is the sound quality, so you're gonna wanna carry some headphones, and the overheating. Now the overheating is not a big deal for most people. The people who use this laptop just to browse the net, stay connected, do presentations, I wouldn't worry about it. It's just for the few out there who hook up an external GPU, maybe wanna edit video on this or game for a long period of time, then I'd be a little bit worried. So that pretty much wraps up my review of the X1 Carbon 2018. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.